And ladies and gentlemen, just to finish off with another little bit of tennis news, of course, later this year we'll have the 6 tennis courts reopening at the old Milton Tennis Centre. We'll have the original Stephen racket back at the front part of the naming section along Milton Road. And of course that will be the Roy Emerson Tennis Centre that will be named. The overall park there will be Frew Park, named of course after the first president of Queensland Tennis, president for 20 years in Mr Frew. So look forward to that one towards the end of 2014. Thank you everyone for your attention.
That wonderful book. It is extraordinary, I think, that we're gathered here today in these circumstances, because this is very much, though I suspect not too many people understand, this is very much a significant part of Australian sporting history, indeed international sporting history. And I've just arrived here 10 minutes ago and straight away saw some of the people who shared that history with Fletch, and Jimmy Shepherd, who was over there, who played, and Faye Muller, who's sitting here, who was a Wimbledon doubles finalist, Betty Pratt, who played with us, and I'm sure there are others who I haven't had a chance to meet, because you see, we were amongst all of those people who every year rocked up at Milton tennis courts, got the tram. Fletch was one of them, all hoping and expecting that one day we'd win Wimbledon. Only 2 people did in all those years, and one was Rodney, who I know is staying with Jimmy now, and the other, of course, the great Roy Emerson. However, amongst that panoply of people who paraded in and out of those gates, and there were thousands of them, and Graham, if I could just say, it's a great sadness for those of us who saw history made over and over and over again, particularly by the great Labor and others, to see Milton as it is now, which to us, of course, is one of the great sporting theatres of the world. But amongst all of those people who caught the tram and went in and out, very few, including Rodney, were better than this man we honour today, Ken Fletcher. And here he's right. I drove past, I made sure that the driver took me this morning past 524 Ipswich Road, where we'd walk up those steps, and Fletcher's mum would have a baked dinner for us, and the great excitement when, of course, he got chosen in the Davis Cup team, and in those days they gave all this gear out, and Fletch saw the gear and he'd never had anything like it in his life. But he was part of all our lives, and as were those age titles. And then, of course, we read so much today about young players, and they're promising and they're exciting and they're great prospects, and young Bernard over there last night. But here he's right. This Ken Fletcher was seeded 3 at Wimbledon at 21 years of age. And you're also right. He basically had Manolo Santana on the ropes. Santana won the Wimbledon Championship, and Fletch took him to 5 sets. He virtually beat everyone and won every championship except that he never won one of those Grand Slams, the Australian Open. He was in finals, the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, or the US. He had some titanic struggles in the Australian Open. He played in the final of the men's doubles in 1 year in Adelaide, and the match went on and on and on until well into the morning. And he was in the final of them, and they won it. And he was in the final of the men's singles the next day against Roy, and he could barely move. Fletch was a personality in the very real and positive sense of the word. There are none of these people today. Sport to him was the essence of what he was doing. Yes, winning was important, but it is true he won the Grand Slam of mixed doubles with Margaret Court, and in fact they were lining up, they were coming, it was the final of the US Open, it was at Forest Hills, and Fletch arrived, and Margaret, this was history. No one had won a Grand Slam of mixed doubles, and this was history, and Margaret, the great Margaret Court, took all this very seriously, and she turned around and she saw Fletch arriving. And Fletch looked like the bottom of a bird cage. He was dressed, he had a pair of thongs on and had shorts or whatever. And Margaret looked at him in absolute disgust and said, "Fletch, you haven't even shaved. We're playing here today for history and you haven't shaved." He said, "Margaret, don't worry about me not having shaved. I haven't slept either." And they went on to win it. It is also true what Huey said, that the great Harry Hopman said this was the man who did with the forehand. It's generally regarded, and even in that era and translating to the modern era, Ken Rosewall was the man of the backhand and Ken Fletcher was the man of the forehand. So I'm so delighted that the media are here, because unless this story is taken to Australia, they don't understand. We're terrible, absolutely awful with our understanding of history. I was only recently, one of the staff in my office was on the phone as I walked in. I'd just come off air, and I heard the staff who was saying, no, Mr. Jones is not available. No, look, he's still in the studio, because they all sort of try and look after me for 10 minutes after I come off air, and they kept on going. In the end, I got tired of this, and I'm saying, hang up. So when she hung up, I said, who was that? She said, I've got no idea, some bloke who said his name was Herb Elliott. and I'm sure there's a stack of people here today who don't even know who Herb Elliott is. We're currently trying to raise money to perpetuate the name of Joan Sutherland, the greatest coloratura soprano the world has ever seen. And it's very hard. I've got sitting over here in front of me here one of my footballers, perhaps one of the 3 greatest rugby fullbacks of all time, Roger Gould. But if you went out and spoke to someone today and talked about fullbacks, they wouldn't have a clue. And these are Queenslanders. Fletcher is he was through and through a Queenslander. And Graham, that you and your council have done what you've done, and I know you've made adjustments at the end of it too, so that the memory is properly honoured and properly perpetuated. It is really special. And I just hope that as children are brought by their parents to the park and they walk around, that they don't walk past, and that mum and dad do a bit of homework and they stop and they say, let me tell you who Ken Fletcher was. His dad was an engine driver. He lived in a rented house. You can go and see it, 524 Ipswich Road, Annerley. And from all of that, he rose to be one of the greatest tennis players the world has known, one of the greatest personalities Australia has grown, one of the most successful players. That's not gilding the lily. I mean, you could talk to the people. I talked, Jimmy played with him, Faye, and they'll tell you the stories. This bloke was a genius on the court. Yes, most probably he was careless about his ability. Most probably didn't realise the potential to the extent that he should have, because he did other things, he had fun. But the fact that you, Graham, and your team have chosen to honour this very special friend of ours in this way, he is perpetually in history as a result of your wonderful book, Huey. And let's hope a film. It'll be a far more interesting film than some of the rubbish that is paraded around from time to time, and it'll certainly make a television series better than Underbelly, I can tell you. Because this would be fact, and there wouldn't be killing of people, we'd be laughing at people. So, to all of you, thank you for coming, and I just hope you'll share this message about this young man, Kenneth Norman Fletcher, who came from 524 Ipswich Road, Annerley, and rose to extraordinary heights, to a position whereby the world of sport in his prime knew who he was, knew how great he was, and would collectively today, wherever they are, and especially tennis players, feel that he is here being appropriately honoured. Thank you for being part of it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come where we will unveil the Ken Fletcher bust. Julian, I didn't see you earlier, mate. Please come forward and help us. Julian is the son of Ken Fletcher. Lovely to have you here, mate. And if we could have Alan and you and Peter Racy, if you could perhaps just come around, join us around the bust as we do this unveiling. You right there, mate? Away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the Ken Fletcher bust.
Can we get everyone to just stand in front, Peter, for a formal photo?
Just to the side here.
Yeah. Do you want? Yeah.
Just come on.
Just switch it off.
Just come in with you. Yep. I think just, you know, in the back, you can't see it, so just come forward a little bit. Yep, there we go. And just hold the water bottle as well. The water bottle? Yeah, lose the water bottle. There we go, guys. Everyone stand here for me. Perfect. Great, thanks.
Good? Thanks, everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, just to finish off with another little bit of tennis news, of course, later this year we'll have the 6 tennis courts reopening at the old Milton Tennis Centre. We'll have the original Stephen racket back at the front part of the naming section along Milton Road, and of course that will be the Roy Emerson Tennis Centre that will be named. The overall park there will be Frew Park, named of course after the first president of Queensland Tennis, president for 20 years in Mr Frew. So look forward to that one towards the end of 2014. Thank you everyone for your attendance.
Hi, I'm Billy Lee Lowe, and I hope you are enjoying these YouTube videos of the Great Milton Tennis Centre.